Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So I was asked to do the Kimchi Pancake challenge, and when I was first asked to do this, I was nervous, but kind of excited. Excited because I love to cook. If you follow me on any social media and check out my stories, you know I love being in the kitchen whenever I have free time. But I was nervous because I've never used kimchi before. I've never tasted kimchi before this, and groceries are expensive, y'all, so I didn't want to waste money and time and energy on something that I wasn't gonna like. But I was like, you know what? I was asked to be part of this challenge, so we gonna do it. So I unfortunately made the fun decision, and not decision so much as just absent-mindedness, to record this on my phone in portrait instead of landscape. So we got a portrait video going on today. Yay us. Well, let's get into it. So first I had to go get my supplies. So I had to go down to a local Asian market. So I got off work one day and it's about 20 minutes from my house. I've gotten supplies there before for other Filipino dishes that I tried, and they seem pretty reliable. So first time making a dish, I try to follow the instructions almost to the T, unless there's something completely heinous in there, and then I'll make whatever adjustments I need after that. So the instructions called for this Korean pancake mix, and on the way I found this ube flavored pancake mix. I was like, I gotta bring that with me too. So I got my pancake mix, I got my kimchi, I got my green onions. It's called for chili pepper paste, but I just found the red chili peppers and I just found it more interesting, so I went with those. But before we can start cooking, we always got to protect our clothes. I kind of wish that I had washed this apron before starting this video. I was baking cookies for work. Actually, just before this, there's cookies in the oven right now. So that is what is on my apron. Hindsight is 2020. I wish I would have washed it off or brushed it off, but I didn't notice it until like midway through. But anyway, getting all of our ingredients prepped. So getting my onions all nice and washed before I chop them up. Same thing with my peppers. And then we just kind of speed through this part. And then when it comes to the peppers, I like to keep the seeds for myself, just to see if I can grow some. I've had some success in the past. And then we get to mixing all of our ingredients. So I debated about what size to make these pancakes, because I saw some recipes that used the entire pan and made them like one big flat pancake. And I've seen other recipes that made them into like smaller little portions, almost like mini pancakes. And there was one recipe I saw that just the shape and size of them were smaller, and they reminded me of my childhood. Those of you who don't know, my grandparents on my mom's side were Jamaican, and some of my fondest memories were spending time at their house as a kid. And one thing my grandfather used to make with frequency, well, every day we were there, he would always make us tea with condensed milk, and then he would make Jamaican saltfish cakes. And there's just something about the shape that I saw in this one recipe that really just spoke to me. So I was like, I'm gonna make mine in that shape and size. So now I have to try the kimchi, because like I said, I've never tried kimchi before. I didn't know what it was. For some reason in my head I had the image of seafood, but it is not. It just was cabbage, or sometimes I guess you can get it in radish form. And it actually was not bad. It was not bad. And I had to chop up the kimchi a little bit. I don't remember if the recipe asked me to chop it up, but once I saw how whole the kimchi actually was, I'm like, this seems like it might be a little bit too big of chunks for these cakes. So I sliced it up just a little bit to make it a little bit more manageable. Then I took my mixture over to the frying pan, and it was time to start cooking. So you'll notice here, since I made the pancake smaller, I only ended up using like a third of the pancake mix I ended up mixing up together. So if you end up making them smaller, just know you'll have lots and lots of little pancakes. So taste test, and it actually was not bad. It wasn't bad, but then I was like, okay, how can I make my change to this? What can I do to this? So I was like, I want to add a little bit of a sweet flavor, a little savory flavor. So I had in my fridge from the weekend the sweet and spicy bacon jerky that I made. And it's basically just bacon that's been marinating in sriracha, brown sugar, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. So it's got a little bit of a kick, but it's got a nice sweetness to it. It's got some nice saltiness to it. And I figured that'd be a nice addition. I also went looking through my pantry for about 10 minutes for basil and dill weed, which I was out of, but those are my two favorite herbs that I like to cook with, which is why I'm out of them. So instead I opted for the 5-spice Asian blend that I also got from the Asian market. And yeah, it turned out really good. Really good. So takeaways from this. And the first batch that I made, I followed the directions pretty much verbatim, and the pancakes actually turned out really crispy. They turned out nice and crispy. It had this nice crispy outer shell. It was really, really nice. And they stress, every recipe I looked at stressed ice cold water, ice cold water. Because like when you have that ice cold batter and it hits the hot oil, it just gives you that nice crisp, and it's just nice. But for the second batch that I made using the same batter, they weren't quite as crispy, and I think that's because I was using the same batter in the bowl and I didn't put it in the refrigerator in between, so it was just kind of sitting out and kind of got to room temperature at that point. So the pancakes were still good, they just didn't have that crisp. So if you want that nice crisp, make sure that your batter, make sure you're using ice cold water, but if you're going to be doing this in multiple stages, maybe put your batter in the fridge or the freezer in between stages so that it doesn't heat up too much. Second takeaway, I know they recommended the chili paste and I opted for the chili peppers. I think once I added the bacon jerky that I made to it, the heat level got a little intense, so I might opt to reduce the amount of chili peppers I put in it if I was going to add the bacon again, which I would, because it was delicious. Everything's better with bacon. I would also, like I said, I'd want experiments with some herbs, so I really wanted some basil or some dill weed in there, but I didn't have any, so I would go shopping for that stuff to make sure that I have that next time I make it. And yeah, there were lots of different variations that I saw. I saw some recipes that were like, oh, you can add shellfish, or you can add tuna, or you can add this, whatever protein you want. So I almost added the tuna, but I remembered I had the bacon, and like I said, everything's better with bacon. But I had fun. I had fun with this challenge. It's nice to try something new, and it's even better when it works out and you don't hate it. And I'm glad that I got the exposure to kimchi, because like I said, I've never had it a day in my life. When I was up in Chicago with Synergic, he actually bought some kimchi to take home with him. I had no idea what it was, so I'm glad to at least have that exposure, and it makes me excited to, you know, dabble with some other Asian foods. Like I said, I've dabbled with some Filipino desserts already. I love cooking with ube. Ube is one of my favorite new ingredients. And yeah, I'm interested to just dabble into other things. So if you guys have other recipes or suggestions, or you want to see some more content like this, let me know. Put it down in the comment section and I just might make it. Maybe next time in landscape instead of portrait, but you know, it is what it is. But thank you to Korean Convenience over on Twitter for reaching out to me and asking me to be a part of this challenge. I had so much fun. I can't wait to check out some of the other vlogs, just see what other ideas people came up with. I think I saw one where someone was doing like a gluten-free or a sugar-free option, which is interesting, and I can't wait to see what everyone else comes up with. But this was a lot of fun. I love being in the kitchen, and yeah, like I said, this just might be some new content we stumble into. I'm also going to be releasing an ASMR cut of this cooking video where it's not me talking, it's literally just me making stuff, because there was, when I was editing through it, I was just hearing all these sounds. I'm like, huh, this is fun. I'm not big into ASMR, but you know, this is fun. But I'm gonna have that over on my ASMR channel, because yes, I do have an ASMR channel. There's not much content on it, but you know, we're working on that. So make sure you go check out that if you are into the ASMR or cooking ASMR. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all of my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you would like me to dabble in, let me know. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join me over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I will see you guys in the next video. Love ya. Mwah. Together, there's nothing we can't